I dare say from time to time I've been accused of talking hot air. Well, today it's fine to accuse me of talking compressed air. Because after completing a review in the past around compressors, I have finally been able to get my hands on the one compressor that was missing from that review. I'm really hoping this one is going to be pretty good because they're made around 20 miles from me. It is the Hill EC-3000. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. Yes, it's time to get all patriotic and fly the flag. Even better when it's a success story of a UK-based engineering company in the heart of what was England's Steel County. The instruction manual cannot be accused of being written in Chinese English, but may need to be excused of adding too many T's. Int book that tells you how to go on with it. As most of you guys already know, I like things that have been engineered and done properly, rather than done on the cheap, with weak parts that will last the week out if you're lucky. So, with that in mind, let's do walk around, shall we? Okay, that's enough Yorkshire jokes. Size, first of all, this is 380mm high by 480mm wide and around 230mm deep. And I must admit, I thought it was going to be bigger than it actually is. And whilst I would say it was compact, I wouldn't say it was overly crammed into this space. It does feel as though it's been given enough breathing room and all the potential damageable components are protected well within the steel grey painted tubular frame, which doubles up as the carrying handles. Whilst this isn't the lightest thing you could carry around, you can see where the weight is because they haven't used any super thin steel in this that will bend or vibrate in use. Most of the steel plate is between 3 and 4mm thick and beautifully CNC'd with no sharp edges, then beautifully finished off in grey with a green guard plate. You're not likely to be taking this out into the field to charge up your guns though, not only because of the weight, which incidentally is around 4 stone, which when I was a lad, that's about 56 pounds in weight, which is going to be around 25 kilos. But not only that, because this is a full 240 volts or 10 volts, depending on where you live. It isn't going to run off a 12 volt source from your 4x4. This is designed for home or club fill. Within this frame you have a rather large and meaty 750 watt single phase motor driving the compressor, along with the air filter, silicone oil tank and cooling fan. And all this is topped off with a control unit which has a rather nice hidden screen and single wheel control. First things first then, how to set this up. It comes supplied with the required crank oil and silicone oil. These require putting into their relevant reservoirs first. The red crank oil goes into the top of the white reservoir and the oil supplied should be about the exact amount needed. But they do rightly suggest you fill this on level ground and keep an eye on the fill window and stop filling when it reaches the middle red dot level. They also say allow 5 minutes for the oil to settle to be sure of that level. Next up is the silicone oil, and this simply needs popping into the clear tank and needs only to go up to the blue line. The fill caps on both of these reservoirs should only be finger tight, so please leave the grips in the toolbox for now. So you're all loaded up and you've waited 5 minutes. Time to connect your gun and start the initial programming. Now note, I've just said start filling your gun. This was designed from the ground up to do just that. It wasn't designed specifically for divers tank fills. There could be a little confusion because in manual it talks about filling bottles. Well, some people would call the gun reservoir a bottle, others a cylinder, and so on. So they decided to simply use the term bottle, meaning gun reservoir. After talking to the nice guys at Hill, we did agree that it could be used to top up your diver's tank, but isn't ideally suited to fill such as 12-litre tanks from empty. That's asking a little too much. The only other point I would raise is please don't buy this or any other compressor to fill your tank because you know it's out of date and can't be bothered with taking it to be pressure tested by a professional. It's a bad practice that if you're lucky, one you might live long enough to regret. A 300 bar tank will probably take the side of your house out if it did blow. Anyway, that's the health and safety bit out of the way then. Connect your gun up via the supplied fill probe. I prefer to have a supply of adapters on my fill probes rather than keep undoing and redoing the connectors. They're not expensive and they make life a lot easier and the whole process faster. So, close off your bleed valve, then, assuming you've plugged this thing into the mains, please, if you need to use an extension lead, make sure it is suitable and as short as you can get away with, and it needs to be capable of running a full 13 amps. Turn on the red switch on the top and the screen will appear as if by magic from the black Perspex top. Using this is about as simple as it gets. There is the one silver rotating knob on the top and this operates everything. Just follow the instructions on the top. It can be set for whichever pressure measurement you prefer simply by rotating the dial and then press enter once it's selected. Then tell it what fill pressure you want to go up to, again by rotating the dial, then press it to lock that figure in. It will go up to 300 bar. It will then ask you if you want it to start. Again, press the silver button to commence. If you want to move between any of the menus, all you need to do is rotate that silver wheel. Simple. Once you start it, you can pause it again using the silver button, and it will ask you if you want to pause or abort. This is child's play, really. It will show you on the screen the temperature, which is great, but to a certain extent irrelevant, because it is fully automated, and if it does get too hot, it will automatically pause itself. It is worth noting that at this point it hasn't aborted the fill and it may not have reached the required pressure yet. It is simply paused until it reduces the temperature sufficiently for it to recommence the fill procedure. If you did use this to top up your diver's tank, this could happen a few times. But again, it isn't designed to be used to fill big diver's tanks. That's probably enough on the explaining then. Let's see how long it takes to top up a gun. I'll use a gun with a reasonable tank to test it. In this case, I'm going to use the AAR Bazooka, otherwise known as the Daystate 303. I use this one because it has a 300cc cylinder and it empties itself very quickly after a very small number of shots. So it's a good gun to be able to empty for the test. Pretty simple. Let's run it from 150 bar, say, up to 230, just for a guide, shall we? Here goes. Stopwatch at the ready. One minute and 16 seconds. Not too bad at all, and a lot easier than using a hand pump, and quicker too. And it didn't even get hot at that at all. Don't forget to switch everything off and open the bleed valve before trying to remove the filler from the gun. It is pretty quiet. Hill claims 75 decibels in use, and I can confirm it is quite an acceptable level when using it, even in the confined space of the studio, and it shouldn't really annoy anybody. Price then? Well, it's going to set you back about £795 UK, which isn't a small amount of money and really is aimed at someone who shoots a lot or someone tired of lugging large divers tanks around, or maybe pumping. I would also say it's probably ideally suited to a small club or group of shooters who could literally club together to buy it. I will say it is of higher quality than a lot of the ones I have tested that are 2 or even 3 times the price of this, and they didn't perform as well or feel anywhere near the quality. There is no cooling system water tank you need to fill or buckets of water required when in use. It is air cooled and automatically managed. No, it isn't cheap, but it is engineered. Oh, there I go again with the E word. It's a real refreshing change that a British company has shown we are still a nation of capable engineers and capable of building solid quality products, and dare I say, competitively. Out of the ones I have tested so far, I would say this is the nicest engineered. Not the cheapest, but a lot less than some of them, and on a personal note, I would buy this over some of the ones I currently own. It feels like it is capable of standing the test of time and is also a lot quieter in use. It isn't as fast as some I've used, but neither is it the slowest. Remember, this is designed primarily to fill straight to gun, and if you're going to use it to fill tanks, then please do it on a regular basis and don't wait for your tank to drop to 150 bar before connecting this. That's it. Hopefully you've found this useful. Thanks to the guys, as always, at Vector Air for the loan of this lovely bit of kit. Please give us the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you if you have. Hit the alarm bell for the notification and take a look at this little lot if you've still got any time left. Well, there's nothing on the telly anyway. It just leaves me to say, stay safe and shoot safe, and thank you so much for watching.